but it's okay. Let's let people get back in here.
Yeah.
That was almost a good stopping point, but I do have things I want to talk about a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's make sure that we're live again. I'm checking on my phone. Yeah, we are. Looks like we're back in action. Let's give a minute to get people back in.
Yep.
So we're just waiting for people to get back in. We had a little technical difficulty. Just doing a quick reset, getting some people back in here.
Thank you all for dealing with our technical difficulties. We're still learning as we go.
Yep, this is
Didn't
the first time.
anticipate that issue, but once again, thank you to Aaron Plessinger, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, man of the people, people's champ, the cowboy. Thank you, AP, for joining us this evening. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. It was great to hear some insight, and can't wait to see him back on the track at A1 in January.
And if you are watching this video as an upload, just go back to our previous video. We just had AP on and had him talking. So that was good. But yeah, like I said, we just kind of had a little bit of a hiccup here when we hung up, which we were having on our tests as well. So I don't know why it does that. I might have to play with the settings a little bit myself. We are learning the streaming program, like Trey said, as we go. But as you see, one of the things we are doing is we have the interactive background here. So I want to keep motocross.com is the website that we run. Trey's a big part of that. And we will have stories on here, the YouTube channel as well. It probably says we're live right now. I'll refresh it. Yep, so it says we're live. Yeah, so anyway, you guys are joining back with us right now. Thanks for joining us, the Transworld Motocross live show. And we just did a quick restart. As we were hanging up, it kind of froze on us, so we just did a quick restart, and we are back in it. So anyway, let's move on to a couple more things. That was great having AP on, giving us a little bit more insight there. We got a couple more things to talk about. We still got to break down the motos a little bit. And there's a couple more things to talk about before we wrap this up. Man, just let's talk about the track itself, the drag strip. Like I said, there's quite a few complaints, I'd say, from some of the riders and people from talking about it. You got people like Hayden saying, whatever, we all got to ride it anyway, like whatever. But all at the same time, clearly we had some accidents. We just had some softness and just not the best track. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, I definitely heard that as well, whether it was interviews or just hearing around. A lot of people thought the track was very challenging. And of course, we have the best riders in the world here in the playoffs, but when the riders are complaining because of the difficulty of the track and because of the sketchiness, if you want to call it that, it's really a problem if the riders are saying, hey, I'm not sure we should be doing this, or I don't really like this area. At the end of the day, obviously you can't just run a really basic track, but if riders are complaining about safety, we shouldn't be jeopardizing their health. And I mean, there was a lot of crashes. Of course, honestly, when I saw that huge rhythm lane on the right side of the drag strip, I thought for sure, I was like, man, I was like, the SMX next kids are going to struggle through this because everybody's still learning supercross. Like, obviously, they're the best of these up and coming racers, but they are still actively learning and getting their feet wet in the sport. And Ryder Malinowski's crash on press day really set the tone because there was other guys. Christopher Harris got carted off. Landon Gibson went down really hard and wasn't going to race. Of course, the race got canceled, so it didn't ultimately matter. And then you have guys like Juju's brutal crash. I didn't really catch it, but it sucks to see him go down. Of course, a really strong debut to the year at the beginning of the year. He held the red plate, won his first main event, and it was a really sour ending. He's got his surgery, went through that successfully, now starting the recovery process. And even outside of that area, Garrett Marchbanks went down really hard. I think it was the double section in the back. He went down hard. He kind of like flipped over the bars and really crawled off the track pretty much. They had the red cross flags out, and I said in my podcast episode that will drop tomorrow, I'm like, that's got to be the worst PC curse yet because you have Garrett go down And then what two guys get the penalties? His teammates. Seth and Levi are the ones who got the penalties from the Red Cross flag. But overall, obviously we get the concerns, and I think for sure things will be a little bit different for the riders if they want to voice their opinions, and it seems like they were voicing their opinions and frustrations a little bit. Hopefully we can get good vibes back rolling this weekend. I'm sure a lot of people really looking forward to the Supercross in St. Louis, and we've had a little bit more Supercrossy SMX hybrid tracks before. I think back to the LA Coliseum in the first year of the playoffs, but we've never had one inside of a dome yet. And of course, we get a little bit of a section racing outside of it. But to see a dome playoff race is going to be really interesting. And I'm sure guys like Cooper Webb or other guys who are really good at Supercross, like maybe a Jordan Smith, are probably salivating at the.
You kind of broke up at the last part, but hey, let's get into the Seth Hammaker Levi Kitchen penalization in Moto 1 a little bit more detail. I know Justin Schuler, one of our other riders for Transworld Motocross, he put something up while we were there. The AMA officials have handed out a post-race penalty, Seth and Levi, Red Cross violation, because their penalties were different from each other, correct? They're from the same incident, but a different penalty?
They got the same penalty, but Levi had another penalty in addition to it. Both riders got docked 5 championship points, of course. Seth and Levi took away from their season total. But Levi, because he made a pass, I don't remember exactly who it was that he passed, but he made a pass during the Red Cross flag. So he got docked a position, which took him from third and on the podium, then dropped him to fourth, promoted Joe Shimoda onto the overall podium. And of course, going into it, if there was a normal second moto, like, okay, one position for Olympic scoring, that's not a super big deal. But when you have it called early and you go off of one moto, if potentially Levi Kitchen mounts some kind of a charge and loses a position, maybe say loses the title by 2 points, we're going to look back and say, well, he lost 2 points from the Red Cross flag passing somebody. That could easily, especially in a 3-race championship, not just losing the 5 from jumping on the flag, but also those 2 from going back third to fourth from passing someone. It could be really crucial in a 3-round series like this, even if we have double points and triple points at Vegas.
Yeah, these points are pretty crucial, and they're actually interesting on how it all works.
We saw something in the 250 Moto 1, some riders jumping with the lights and the Red Cross no jump flag
Justin
out.
posted this on Transworld.
Has there been a decision made of what might happen there?
There has. We reviewed that footage, and Seth Hammaker is receiving a 5 championship point penalty for jumping under a Red Cross violation. And Levi Kitchen had passed another rider under the Red Cross, so he's receiving a 1 position penalty plus 5 championship points as well.
Gotcha. And there's total points is not necessarily the points here today for the races. Like, it won't affect their overall position. Is once they finished overall.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, it's championship points only.
Gotcha.
We're going to go through some of this footage here because it was hard to tell. It looked like a bunch of riders jumped, but those are the only 2. There's Hammaker in the lead, jumping the jump. And the flags are out at that point.
So you see that? This is the concern right here. This is where the red lights are on this jump, not the 2 previous jumps.
Oh, this jump.
That's this jump right here. So these lights are on, as you see Seth jump, and Levi had passed prior to that phase.
Okay, so gotcha. We were thinking that possibly the 2 jumps before, so thanks for clearing that up.
It's interesting. Even the TV announcers half the time they're really obviously some of the smartest people to do it, but even they question when these things happen. They got to get the clarity from someone like Mike at the AMA, which is also a pretty cool thing that they can call in and talk to each other like that on the broadcast and explain it a little bit more for us, because a lot of us just watching, even on the floor. I mean, when you're on the floor shooting, you're missing half the things anyway. So you got to go back and see these things from the TV angle sometimes to actually understand what's happening.
We talked about that a little bit with, you go back a few weeks when Jet had the gate issue at Ironman. And I was talking to somebody, whether it was you or somebody else, but they were like, we just found out when they were lining up for the second moto that he'd actually been dropped. And I was like, I saw the Steve Mathis tweet and where it was like, oh, Jet being docked a lap. Like, I thought it was a joke when I saw it the first time. Like, there's no way they dock him a lap. And then, of course, that all happens, and he gets mad, and it kind of woke up the beast a little bit in that regard. But I think it's good to have somebody like Mike Pelletier come on the broadcast, because one of the aspects of football broadcast nowadays, and I'm sure it's probably like this in other sports, but you have those rules analysts come on and they explain their side of the view. They don't necessarily agree with all of the assessments sometimes, but they definitely give you their point of view. And I'm sure 99.9% of people who watch supercross, motocross, super motocross races, I'm sure they're not well versed in the AMA rulebook.
Right.
Like I've watched the sport for over a decade now. I watch racing every week. I know a lot of things about the sport, but I can promise you, I don't know the AMA rulebook. I don't know the little nuances about it. So to have that guy be able to come on there and give you a little bit of perspective is helpful. And like you said, sometimes the announcers aren't even sure what's happening. And sometimes the race results get posted, then they get removed a little bit. And then you're like, okay, who got the penalty? Who's going to get punished?
Yeah.
So it's definitely probably never going to be perfect, but at least we have that element where we have people from the AMA like Mike to be able to come on the broadcast and at least give it from their point of view, like, hey, this guy has a penalty. This is why we think he's in the wrong.
Definitely. And when it comes to points, SMX can be a little confusing. Understanding
For sure.
what it is exactly these guys are bringing in when they come into SMX, especially when they have these, like Justin Cooper had such a big points lead coming into it. But I think a lot of people, including myself, didn't really understand that it resets.
Yeah.
It kind of has a reset right there. So, can you explain that a little bit for us on how that works? And like what points look like when they jump into it, and then like obviously the next one's double, and then how it goes from there.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar, but a lot of people aren't. Of course, you have the Monster Energy AMA Supercross season. You have the AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Those obviously separate but very important championships. They set the seeds for the playoffs. As you mentioned, Justin Cooper rolled into the playoffs in the 450 class as the number one seed. Through Supercross and Motocross, I pulled up a tab to show the points for myself. He had 670 points following the regular season. Second place was Jet Lawrence, who had 580. But those points, of course, they go to national numbers. If you don't have one already, of course, that doesn't affect Justin Cooper or Jet Lawrence because they have their career numbers. But those points reset at the beginning of the playoffs. And what I think some people overlook or it isn't talked about enough is the seeding lineup that we get 1 through 20, those guys who do earn those automatic berths, whether they do race and compete or whether they're, say, a guy like Chance Hymas who is injured, it is standard supercross or motocross points before we go into it. So Justin Cooper was the number one seed. He entered the playoffs with 25 points. Hayden Deegan the same way in the 250 class. Of course, he won both championships he competed in. He was clearly the number one seed. Then you go on down the line, just like a supercross main event. Jet Lawrence was the second seed, 22 points. The third seed was Malcolm Stewart, I believe. He started with 20 points. Of course, Malcolm didn't race this weekend, so he still has 20 points overall. He drops from third in the seeding to 12th overall. But you have the seeding that runs down and starts the series, starts the playoffs, like it would be the points from a supercross main event. And of course, this weekend, usually in super motocross, we have the Olympic scoring where, like, if you go 1-2, that would be 3 points. If a guy goes 3-1, 4 points, so on and so forth. And then, of course, you take the overall points, which are standard. And as you mentioned, the playoffs, the big, I don't want to say gimmick, because I think of NASCAR and their whole elimination when you're in format that I know people are stoked about, but you have the double points in St. Louis, you have the triple points in Vegas, so definitely ground to be made up. But when you look at the standings right now, Jet Lawrence entered Saturday 3 points behind. He left Charlotte 9 points to the good, and Chase Sexton leaped over Justin Cooper because Justin went down early. You look at the 250 class, obviously, Hayden Deegan's out front. He's got a nice little gap. He's got an 8-point gap over Shimoda. He has a perfect 50 points now. And then, of course, we talked about the Hammaker penalty. He's still third in the championship without the pit or with the penalty, but he's sitting on 34 points right now. When if he doesn't jump on that red cross flag, he would have 39 points. He would only be 3 back from Shimoda instead of 8 back. But we also, once again, we have those double point races. We have those triple point races. Still a lot on the line, ground to be made up. But of course, like I mentioned, the seeding, we have these big numbers. Justin Cooper enters technically with a 90-point lead, but that all goes out the window. He did earn the number 1 seed, got 25 points to start, but then once again, it's a brand new championship, goes down early, gets 11th in the moto, and then unable to race the second moto because of the lightning and all the darkness light issues, whatever you would like to call it.
And we had we'll kind of jump into the 250 recap real quick and then the 450, but to start the day, I mean, in qualifier, Ty Masterpool, right? I mean, he was
first session of the day.
Yeah, in the first session. I'm wondering if we had a smooth track. You're getting kind of speed. I know that kind of
that
the case
always
sometimes.
Helps, for sure, but I think the interesting part is on Friday, the free practice day, there were only 2 riders who went under 2 minutes. 2 riders on Friday altogether. Of course, we talked about, I know AP mentioned the rain and stuff saturating the track Thursday night, but the 2 guys that went under 2 minutes on Friday were Hunter Lawrence and Caden Minier from SMX Next. He ran a blistering lap time and was like 4 seconds clear of everybody else.
Oh, wow.
But definitely that fresh track advantage. I mean, you look at like Southwick, of course, a completely different example, but you look at Southwick every year, and whatever B group goes first, it seems like there's always somebody in the top 5. I know this year it was Cornelius Tondell, of course, who came over from MXGP. And then last year, I think Tom Guyon was fastest qualifier overall because he was in that 250B group and got the fresh track. So definitely a help, but I mean, Ty looked really good. You look at the LCQ, and I didn't really recap the LCQ in the article, but Ty pulled the whole shot and got out front and was on cruise control. He looked really, really good. And of course, you had like Max Anstey, Dak Spinnick in that race as well. And I think 5 out of the top 10 guys in qualifying were all out of that unseeded group because of the first session, fresh track. But Masterpool, he was looking really good. Of course, the race, it was his teammate that got out front right away.
Yeah, and what people may or may not realize is these people that are unseeded, they got to do this every weekend. Well, it's 3 weekends, but they have to do this each time. Like, you don't, even if you win the race, right?
And also,
is that the case? Even if you do that good, even if you win, you still would have to go and qualify if you're not seeded,
and
right?
even you look at like the 450, like Cody Schock was the 21 seed. Well, Jason Anderson is out. Jason Anderson isn't racing, but he doesn't get bumped up into an automatic spot because Jason Anderson's racing. It just opens up another LCQ spot. And that's what's got to be frustrating for these guys, especially like Cody, because he was 3 points away from 20th place. And if something goes wrong in an LCQ, he could be watching from the sidelines as everybody else races. And of course, you don't have those automatic spots to just push back up. He has to go through the LCQ every weekend. It's got to be frustrating for those guys who were right on the cut line. Somebody like Lux Turner in the 250 class, like I mentioned, Cody Schock and Harry Koulis were right there. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic with the LCQs.
Yeah, and they were taking I think 7 riders or something. I remember looking at the board and I saw the line below them all, and I'm like, wow, they take that many, but it's because those...
It was going to be 6, but of course you had Malcolm go out, and then I'm sure we've already mentioned Juju went out in the 250 class, so that promoted another rider from the LCQ in the field.
Yeah, and then hey, how about Austin Faulkner? Dude, I was impressed. I saw him ripping, and he was riding great, and I was just genuinely happy to see that for him,
I've just been really happy to see him make it through a year healthy, and I know he alluded to that a little bit in press day. I don't think any time before this he's made it through an entire calendar year healthy, and to go from what all he went through last year, from the brutal crash at Arlington to the brain clusters, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but all of the stuff he went through last year, and to be competing for top 5s and to just make it through the year healthy, it's such a great sign for Austin, and he seems like he just really is enjoying racing dirt bikes. He got a great start. I know he held some people up for a few laps, but still, top 5 finish is a great result, especially on such a tricky and challenging track.
Yeah, it was a great 250 race. I mean, we had Seth out front for a majority of it, all the way up until the timer ran out, pretty much, and that's when Hayden was coming. I mean, got to give it to him. That's pretty much what he does. So it's not a
That was an
surprise.
insane comeback.
Yeah,
It was like 12 seconds, and I
Yeah.
was like, I think Seth's got this. And then within 2 laps, it was like 7. I'm like, never
Uh-oh.
mind, Hayden's winning.
Yeah, uh-oh. And then Joe was ripping, but he had pretty early on.
Yeah.
He got together with Seth, right? He got together. I missed it, but I saw like a highlight of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a really optimal place to pass, but he tried to force the issue and really take the lead early, clipped the tough block, went down pretty hard. But all things considered, Joe had a really impressive comeback. You look at the 450 race later in the day, and I know we're going to talk about this more, but there was really no passing in that race other than Justin Cooper. And for Joe to move from, I think he probably remounted in 12th place or so, to come back to 4th, obviously gets promoted to 3rd with the penalty to Levi. But a really great comeback ride for Joe. He's been fast all summer. The confidence is there, and he was applying the pressure early. I would love to have seen a Shimoda Hammaker battle really continue and not be shortened, but if is a tiny word, but it can be so big sometimes. And unfortunately, we'll never know what it would have been like if Shimoda was able to keep it out front.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out these next couple weekends, though. You know, we might get to see a replay a little bit, and I would hope that in the 250 race we would see those guys up front again and racing, because that made it interesting. It was definitely an interesting race.
Yeah, I agree.
Penalties, you know, that was a bummer, like you said, for those guys. They lost positions, and then bumped Joe back up. Actually, he ended up he went down and went all the way down to like 11th or something, and then he ended up back up in
11th or 12th to 4th, and then to 3rd.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Cole Davies at Buds. Cole crosses the finish line 3rd, but hey, kid, you want a moto?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers 250s. Like, we weren't really getting the weather yet there. It was still pretty decent. I think everyone was just getting ready for the second one after that. But then we'll jump into the 450s real quick into our little article we got here on motocross.com. Make sure you guys are checking out motocross.com. It's our site that we're running, and we are it's basically a newer site. You know, motocross.com has kind of passed around over the years, and now it's us.
Our refresh look looks really good. I'm biased.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Our refresh a few weeks ago, nice and clean.
Yep.
Go check out our news articles. Hopefully some more news this week. Hopefully we get to hear about the status of Garrett Marchbanks. That's definitely something that I've been keeping my eyes and ears peeled for. We saw him leave the track on crutches. His ankle was wrapped up a little bit, hoping the best for Garrett, but definitely stay tuned to motocross.com for any news updates. We're going to have you covered.
Yes, sir. And more of these shows. We're going to try to keep these going too. I'm kind of thinking it's a bit of a soft launch right now. We do the first 3 SMXs and just kind of get ready for Supercross. But, you know, there might be more things to cover. And I do want this to be like a stream. So it's more like, hey, if something's happening, I might even just hop on here by myself and talk to the chat. But we got to get it rolling a little bit more. I want to get
silly season coming up too.
Yeah, that's true. And my goal with this show is really just to get higher engagement. I want to put the chat up here, like I have it on the screen right now. Just get you guys more involved on it till we're just getting blown up by it. And then
but shout out to you guys for staying active and watching.
Yeah, thank you guys for
tuning in.
A little bit of technical difficulty and jumping into a second. We'll have 2 videos posted after this one, but we'll get that figured out. But let's jump into the 450s. A bit of a train, right? It was a bit of at the end, like the top 4 guys.
Slot car racing.
Yeah, the top 4 guys kind of finished in a bit of a train, like a 10 seconds gap or something. But yeah, it was Jet Lawrence, you know, out front. It's kind of when they ask like, who do you think's going to win this weekend? It's like in their head, you're always like Jet and Hayden. But
yeah.
It was good. It's still really good to see like the pressure, you know, but you never know. You can't tell like how hard these guys are really riding. Like especially Jet and Hayden, it's like they can turn it on and they'll tell you, oh, I'm only doing 80% out there when they're not riding to that point of being unsafe. You know, like Jet's just doing his technical things, jumping around. just looking pretty comfortable. But he did have Eli right on him, and Chase was coming up
Jet
too.
managing a gap is so insane to watch
Yeah,
because you look at the Deegan example. Usually, if Deegan gets a lead, he tries his hardest to just completely blow everybody away and get a huge gap. Jet sometimes it's like, oh, he's a few bike lengths back. He's a second back. Like, I'm just going to run my race. And then I think back to Fox Raceway when him and Tomac were battling. Like, he was managing it. Tomac could pull up beside him, maybe even get around him in a section. Jet would get back by. But by the end of the race, Jet was just gone after managing his race. And he was kind of like that in the first moto at Charlotte. He was keeping a steady rhythm, never a huge gap, but built it up a little bit. And then, of course, a few laps to go, Tomac goes down on the last corner after the finish. He just dropped the front, lost it in the giant rut that was on the start straight there. And that was that. I don't really think Tomac, even if he stays up, would have competed with Jet and tried to track him down because Jet was just cruising out there. But it definitely hurts Tomac because he dropped behind Chase Sexton. But also for Tomac, he was able to hold off Hunter Lawrence. So great for him to keep ahead of one of his closest competitors.
definitely. And we got to mention too, Justin Cooper. He came into this with the red plate, which is pretty exciting to see. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that feels good. But yeah, unfortunately, he had a circumstance. What he got? Did he get ran off the track a little bit, or you just hit the hay bale?
I honestly did not see the crash,
Yeah.
but all I
only seen
know
the
is he was
replay.
stuck under the bike, and by the time he got going, he was already probably 20 seconds behind the field on
Yeah.
lap one.
I didn't see it either. I just
And
see him
with
come
that
around.
level of talent, not good.
Yeah, not good. I didn't see it either. I just saw him come around like way later, and I was like, oh, he's way back there.
He almost got caught in a second crash too, and
Really?
we were all reacting in the press box. He was just starting to make passes, and he ran Roman Pep a little bit wide in that big sand sweeper, and Pep caught some kind of square edge or something weird because he went over the bars and like face first into the sand. And I mean, they were right beside each other. Like Justin Cooper could have easily been hit by the bike or something, but nothing flipped around sideways, so he just kept going, and it was a really close call. And if that would have taken him down, it would have been really, really hard for him to come back from. I mean, even to get up to 11th, he started to catch Barsha a little bit at the end of the race, but my goodness, there are so many great guys in that field. If he would have been set back even farther, does he even get up to like a Justin Hill or a Gio or a McElrath? I mean, it's hard to tell, but it sucks for him with the whole one moto canceled situation.
Yeah.
At least he was able to salvage some points out of it. And like I mentioned, still third in the championship. Granted, he is 11 down to Mr. Jet Lawrence, who's practically inevitable.
Yeah, now that lead that he had really just turned into more of a cushion to keep him in the top 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So unfortunate for him. I know we got the points right here. Jet Lawrence, Chase, Justin Cooper, Eli Tomac, Hunter Lawrence. Man, it's stacked, man. These guys, there's so many dudes.
Yeah.
Ken Roxon, that was really cool seeing him out there ripping. He was looking fast, comfortable. Just love when he shows up and gets out there and rides. Fernandez is making his way around.
Fernandez was solid.
Yeah, I think, like I said, when it comes to the 450s, a bit of a train at the end. Not too much action. They kind of follow each other in, but like you said, it's pretty amazing to actually see Jet mitigate that gap, how he does it, and he just doesn't do what he doesn't need to, and just.
I made the reference in my podcast after Budds Creek, watching the first moto there when he got out front and managed the gap with Cooper and RJ behind. It just feels like everything he does is so surgical. He's so calm when somebody's behind him, just nailing his lines, hitting ruts, navigating through the braking bumps. It just seems so technical, so precise. And at Budds Creek, it was like poetry in motion watching him come downhill before the big gulp. It looked like his bike was just floating over things and just soaking everything up so perfectly. And other guys are going through there and looking like they're riding on a jackhammer. They're getting bucked around and getting kicked like that. And Jet's just bouncing around, and it looks like he's on a cloud just on a Sunday drive out front. I mean, it's insane to watch his ability. He's so much fun to watch, and he makes everything look so effortless.
Yeah, we got our highlight clips. I was actually going to show. Oh, the split start too was pretty interesting. I noticed it seemed like it seemed like all the fastest guys were going on the right gate, and I think maybe it was just to avoid doing that double left turn. Like, I don't know, they came around. I'm not really sure the reasoning.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure. I'm not a racer. I don't know that type of strategy, but definitely an interesting point to bring up.
yeah, I noticed that both 250 and 450, we had seemed like the top guys were all taking the right gate, and the only difference I can think of is when they converge. The left side is doing a left and then straightening and then left again. And I feel like the right is able to like right, left, kind of maybe flow out of it a little easier. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's the opposite.
Still a very interesting idea, though. I mean, we've seen split starts where they're on completely opposite ends, but to have them back to back was a really cool visual. Even if in the press box it was really, you could see one side, but to still see it on the broadcast was pretty cool.
You see how Jet just launches? Like he was. Oh, I
Yeah.
went to the wrong video. He just. He was like, he's like,
it was going to be third or fourth, like
yeah,
he's there.
he's like right here, and then he just, whoom, it just. But you see how, I'm just noticing this right now. You see how low he is? See Chase hit the single, and he kind of, I guess he's off to the right, and there's a bit of a lip right there, but it looks like, I mean, these guys are kind of jumping, and Jet just staying on the ground, and he's just getting that power.
He goes old school Looney Tunes Roadrunner style, just meep meep, and then takes off.
Yeah. It's kind of unreal to see that sometimes. But we'll show you guys, like I said, we got the highlights if you want to watch it on the Transworld Motocross YouTube channel, which you're already on right now. If you guys go to our highlight videos, you can really...
After the video.
Yeah, after the video.
If you want to watch the whole video, don't leave us.
Yeah, go back here. But look, I'll show you guys real quick. This was my perspective when I was shooting down here and I seen the wind come in. I was just kind of like... Let me get this in theater mode. And then, yeah, right here. It's just, it is funneling. It's literally coming through.
Yeah. I saw you standing down there, and I saw it starting to swirl around you. I was like, oh, he's going to get swept away.
Dude, it came right in through there, and it just like, I feel like it like vortex and funneled and got all crazy. Yeah. And then you can see it's just shooting on the track right there. So that was people not feeling that, and I was blowing off hay bales and everything. So that was Justin Hill. It was cool to see him back again. He was he barely made it into the seated spot without racing outdoors.
Him and Mitchell Harrison tied for the 19th seed, only 3 points ahead of Shock. It was really, really a tight battle there, but Justin had a great year in Supercross. It was awesome to see him back, and he was very colorful, very easy to pick out with that new Liette gear this weekend.
Yeah. No, he was looking good out there, and I'm excited to see him keep going out there because he's seated, so he's right in.
He's locked in.
It's kind of crazy that he can get that and not race outdoors.
Yeah, it's very an interesting paradox. And I mean, you look at like RJ Hampshire is technically an automatic seed in the 250 class, and he was, East Coast Supercross, of course, chose the road to 450, but interesting nonetheless.
This is kind of funny too. After Jet pulls off, I go in the stands because I'm hiding from the rain. Actually, I'm hiding underneath here, but it was dumping and people were screaming.
As somebody
everyone's hooting and hollering.
Weather delays, I know what that feels like. It's not fun to be setting around. Of course, this is at a drag strip, so not sure what it's like, but going to West Virginia University football games, it'd be like, oh crap, there's a weather delay, and just watching the rain move outside and the lightning strike, and you're all huddling under the bleachers. It's like, how safe is this?
Yeah, it was definitely still a good time. Like I feel for some of the fans that feel like they were cut short, but although it was still a pretty full day, and even Friday was a really long day. That was a really big press day. A lot of things going on, and something kind of cool that happened with us is Sean Brennan, the guy that runs the media for Feld and Supercross and Super Motocross. He gave me a call last week, and he's like, "Hey, do you want the wife to go do some VIP this weekend and check it out?" And he goes, "If you can give us some clips and behind the scenes." So actually, Crystal got to go out and do the VIP experience at Charlotte, and it was a lot of fun. She took our son Cade in, and we got to bring a friend and their kid, and they had a really good time. And I got to understand it a little bit more and got to do the track walk with them in the middle after qualifying. They got to walk the track. I got a really cool video of my kid walking through the rut, and it's just like he's like
it's his entire body.
Yeah, he's like walking through it. So I got to put those clips together probably tomorrow, and and we'll post that as well on Transworld's Instagram. A little behind the scenes POV of her experience at VIP. So really big shout out and thank you to Super Motocross for giving us that experience, letting us check it out, and it was actually a lot of fun. They really enjoyed it. Like her friend that was with us is not. Her and her son they're not fans. You know, they're new to the sport, so they got to come experience it and stoked. She came out and she was telling me at the house later. She was like, "I had so much fun. I want to like watch it. I want to like learn and go check it out." And that made me really happy. I was like, "Man, that's cool. That's cool. They did a good job if they can take a random."
I was pretty stoked to hear that too.
Yeah, a random person. Yeah, that's right. They come out and be like excited and want to learn more about the sport.
Yeah.
So for people that really love the sport, the VIP experience is definitely a great way to just get that experience. You know, you get to walk the track, collect the dirt, you know, they're catered, they're taken care of. I feel like even though this thing was cut short, we still had such a good time. We kind of forgot about that. Like, it was just a lot of fun anyway. And they really tried to like, once they tried to keep it going, they tried to let them know like, hey, like don't leave yet. We're going to try to do this. So we might even do it again in Vegas. They talked about doing that again with us as well because they wanted to complete it and do more of it. So she might actually do that again. But I'll put together a little video probably tomorrow of those clips and try to get that posted up so you guys can check that out too. So shout out Super Motocross, hooking Crystal up. She had a good time. Really cool experience. Check it out. I believe the way it works, it's not like one big package. It's like a bunch of little packages that you can get. It's like they have different things that they sell, different experiences, and you can stack them up and do more. So awesome experience. VIP. They do that, I think, for Supercross as well. So if you guys check it out on their site, and you can learn more on that. And then
stay tuned to twmx.com on Instagram for this clips. TWMXDOTCOM on Instagram.
Yep.
You know where to find us.
And if you go to that old site, twmx.com, on the website, it'll just take you to motocross.com. But we're keeping, the name and everything there because it's, legacy brand. Keep the legacy alive. And then we're about to wrap this up. I think the last thing I want to talk about is Arenacross. We are a partner in the presenting sponsor for the Partzilla Arenacross series. And this is going to be a really fun series. It's 18 rounds, 9 weekends. And it starts actually here soon, middle of October, and goes through end of January. And it basically ends just in time for those guys that want to race or maybe getting their feet wet for Supercross, or just want to get some more practice in. I know the Partzilla guys, some of those guys will be there. Some of the Club MX guys, I think some of the Dirt Bike Depot guys. We got some teams showing up to do this because it ends right before East Coast Supercross kickoff. So it gives riders a chance to, like I said, get their feet wet or just get a little more practice in. These are great tracks. They're built by Sonny, who commented earlier. And then, Partzilla Arenacross. Let me pull up their site. We can check out the schedule real quick. Oh, it's not pulling.
Yeah, I'm excited for the series for sure. I'm a big Arenacross fan, and seeing it was the official AMA Eastern Regional Series now, which is really cool to see. I talked a little bit with Luke Neese this weekend, and of course talked to him like, hey, we're going to be covering the series or whatever, but it's going to be cool for sure. Arenacross, a lot of action usually, sometimes some tempers, sometimes some fighting and some chaos, but overall really action-packed racing. Should be a lot of fun, and
I know.
I'm stoked that we get to be a part of their series.
We might need to get Matt Burkeen out there and getting us some really good footage,
Yeah.
I was talking about
his
it.
arena crash chaos videos, man. Yeah. Those things are so much fun to watch on Instagram.
No, it's a cool series. Like I said, there's money, there's prizes. There's things available like you can pay to have your bike and your pit travels with the series, so you don't have to actually worry about those logistics if you don't want to. Let's check out the schedule real quick so you guys can see it. It is an AMA series, regional series, and we have the schedule right here. I'll leave this on the screen for a second. I don't know if I can get that to go away, the banner. Partzilla Arenacross. Round 1 and 2, Clarksville, Tennessee. That would be the opening right there. All of these arenas, for the most part, are like basketball or hockey arenas. So they're really nice arenas. Most of them have like little jumbotrons in them. Just nice things for activation. Great for the crowd. Definitely would love to get some more people there to the races to fill these seats up. Usually, at Arenacross, it's mostly just like the people that are there or trying to get some more crowds in there, but we are trying to put on a good show. This is the 3rd year for the Arenacross series itself. It's the 2nd year aired on Fox Sports FS1 and FS2, and in the 1st year as Transworld Motocross as the presenting sponsors. So we're really hoping, to keep pushing them, to represent them, and we're sharing their content, and we're going to be at these races, at a handful of them. The opening, the closer, probably a couple in between. And we'll do some content there. Maybe we'll hop online and do some more talking about it if we get some good action there. And it's a great series. Partsville Arenacross, presented by Transworld Motocross, kicks off in October. Make sure you guys are there. Check it out right here. Give it a screenshot. Check out the schedule. And like I said, it ends right at the end of January. And then East Coast Supercross kicks off. And we'll have some riders on the gate with, a little bit warmed up.
Yeah, should be really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
But I think we'll wrap it up here. It was a great first show, almost 2 hours. That's pretty good. Again, if you missed it, if you're coming in right now, we did have AP on earlier. And when we hung up, we had a little bit of technical difficulty and had to reset the stream. So that one ended on a good ending point for that video of him saying goodbye. But, we kept it going on this one. So you might have to check out both uploads if you want to watch the full video. But we'll get those worked out. That's the purpose of this stream today, is really a test. Honestly, it went pretty well, I'd say. This is, like I said, this is all new. I kind of expect some of those technical difficulties. But we want to keep this going. My goal, soft launch, we hit the first few SMXs, maybe some more events in the off season, do some more things. Me and Trey can write it up what we want to talk about. I would love to get the chat, more involved, more people on here, more comments going. We're putting you guys in the video. We can see it. We can talk to you guys. We want to make this show with you guys too. And just keep interacting with our backgrounds and checking out videos and reacting to content. That's really what I envision in this show. I think this is a good test run, a good rough run of what we want to do. Get athletes and more media people involved in interviews and just chatting. And I just want to keep this going. So expect us to be here next week, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the following one after Supercross, after Vegas, we should be doing it as well. And then the goal is, Arenacross, maybe we'll do some there too. But the goal is A1 Supercross after that. Hopefully we're doing them every weekend, maybe making more shows out of it from there. This is the format that I want to do. It's different. I don't think anyone else in the industry is doing it like this, like a actual streaming style of a show. And then I hope you guys liked it. Trey, what do you got?
Thank you all so much for joining us. A lot of fun for me. I mean, when you brought this idea up to me at Budds Creek, I was really stoked to be a part of it. Happy to be here. Hopefully the people enjoy it and share it with everybody. Spread it across social media. I know you're going to be uploading some clips in the next few days, but it was a lot of fun and looking forward to a fun weekend of racing in St. Louis.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Trey, where can we find you? You also have a podcast, right?
Yeah. If you want to follow me a little bit more, my podcast is called The Steyr Sound. New episodes usually up every Wednesday afternoon. We always upload on Wednesdays. Myself and Jack Noel from the Dirt Bike Depot WMR KTM team. He is my co-host. You can find our show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And if you want to follow socials, my podcast social is only on Instagram. It is at The Steyr Sound Official. And then my personal account, if you want to see behind the scenes and like my articles and stuff that I'm sharing with not only TWMX, but sometimes other things I'm working on a personal site. My Instagram is TJSteyr3, and you can find me on X at Steyr23. So let me know. It'd be awesome if you guys followed me and got to see a glimpse of my journey. But thank you all for the support so far. Thanks for tuning into the live stream tonight, and hopefully you can join us next week as we talk about round number 2 and a super motocross round inside a dome.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. That track looks pretty fast. I don't see the rhythms as much as we had at zMAX. It just kind of looks wide open, but interesting. And I think it goes out. I got the picture right here. It goes out, but this is just a U-turn now. Didn't they originally have it like doing a little bit more, but now I think it's just coming
I
back? I think I
I
heard
haven't
something
really
about that.
looked at the map. I'm not entirely sure, but it's still cool that we get to go outside a little bit. It gives me some. I think they used to do it at Vegas Arenacross a little bit, go outside. I know they did it one year at Glendale too for Supercross. They had like a little lane behind the stadium or
Yeah.
outside of it. It's always really cool when they can make things interactive like that. And of course, the most legendary example, good old Monster Alley at Sam Boyd Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that place, and I miss seeing races there on TV. Of course, all the Supercross finales, Monster Cup, even like Monster Jam World Finals was there. But it should be really cool this weekend, and man, I'm excited for it. I love racing, and I'm just stoked. It's playoffs time.
Yes, sir. Well, Trey, again, thank you for joining and being a co-host with me and a big part of this as a contributor. We appreciate it. I appreciate all the contributors. I know we got Justin in the chat right here as well. Who's another contributor with us. We'll probably have him on the show every once in a while as well. And yeah, we just want to keep this going. I really hope everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, man, I'm just excited. So with that, I think I'm going to call it a night. It's about 10 p.m. here. So hopefully, yeah, it was a good time. I had fun. I really had fun. I think I got my nerves out of the way. You can let us know how we did. It's my first time. Trey is honestly a little bit more experienced when it comes to the podcasting. That's one of the reasons I want him on this, because I just need that guy that can talk like that and just smart with those things. Because I mean, I'll just be honest with you guys and transparent. Like that's not my strengths, and my strengths are content and like doing the videos. I mean, that's really where it all came from for me. So this is newer to me, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I definitely plan on keeping it going and hopefully getting better and better at what we're doing. And I just want to keep it going. Like I really like the format like that we're doing right now, and we're just gonna wrap it up. I got pizza waiting for me. We got delivered pizza. So, so Krista just texting me. So it's time. But all right, guys, appreciate you jumping on the Transworld Motocross live show. Maybe we'll change the name. Give me some name ideas in the comments. TWMX Live. It's going to be on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern is the schedule that I would like to go with. That works well for me. And yeah, looking forward to it. So with that, I'm going to end it. Thanks, guys. And we will see you next Tuesday night.